Gamers, I have acquired a lot of Lego Mario. I may be Lego Zelda obsessed and having only played a couple of Mario games in my life, but I love this creative and fun theme, despite what many of you would call shortcomings. I have quite a few of the sets now, stuff like the Big Bowser, and over the last couple of weeks I've been building them all up, and we're going to have a little adventure today. We're going to take it very chilled and relaxed, but I wanted to, well, see my whole collection together, for one. Set up a big course that I'm probably not going to play through, at least not with the digital Mario turned on, because he currently has no batteries in him. And I want to experiment, see what I can do, and see if this play style, play theme still sort of lives up to what I believe it is. And I'm a big fan of this theme and everything that they've done with it, and I'm curious to see if I still feel the same way after, well, one, having spent, what, 4 days building all this stuff, and then two, well, what happens when it all goes together. Plus, I just think it would be cool to make a very large layout. Now, let's be honest, it's not every set, but I have done some really cool things and have some really cool sets, and actually, there's something else I want to show you as well. So in the process of building all the sets, I sort of cheated and I got all the characters out early because I wanted to do this. Now back in the day I used to do something similar but actually build stands for these guys, and obviously now we have far too many to build a sensible stand for. And yeah, it's unfortunate that some of the smaller ones are getting lost, but I think this is cool. This really shows that design language for me. I know a lot of you have already written them off as just square bad interpretations. People admit the Goombas pretty perfect, at least in this scale. Bowser looks great, and so on. Some of these things I just do not believe they could do better in minifigure form, especially stuff like these guys on the end with the Parabiddy buds. Also, do you like my flower bouquet? And we've got everything in here. This is about 56% of the Mario collection. Obviously, there's a lot of dupes or like similar variants, and according to Brickset, I am missing, well, a fair few characters, but when I exclude the variants, so that would be the bombs with different colors, insides, or slight print variations on stuff like the Scared Boo, we're talking that I'm missing about 30 unique characters and figures, not including the August 25 wave, because they're not on the system yet. And you see Mario and Luigi, but not Peach here. Main characters along the front. Really happy to have DK. Obviously don't have all the Smash rep yet. I just love this over here with all these Goombas. We're going to get the sets out in a little bit and just sort of play around. I'm curious to see what layout I can make. Maybe we'll play a course. Don't know yet. Haven't decided. These guys are not up to date. We've got our little Toad collection, our little Hammer Bro collection. But yeah, in particular, I'm really pleased with the amount of Goombas I had, because this is something I knew I wanted lots of, but they're actually quite not expensive on Bricklink, but just not worth the price on Bricklink. But I've acquired a couple in sets, notably, of course, these stacks of 3, which came from my 2 copies of the Goombas Treehouse, which is an alright set, but I managed to get them both for 50% off. So considering I was willing to buy 1 set, I thought, well, why don't I just buy 2 for half price? And then I got 6 more Goombas, which is always appreciated. And then 2 Cat Goombas, 4 Bone Goombas. Don't know how I got 4 Bone Goombas. Don't know how that happened at all. Pirate Goomba's one of my favourites. Amp is a great one. The Small and Big Urchin are both fantastic. Dry Bones, my beloved, is here. Here he is. He looks great. So many fantastic characters. So many lovely sort of colour lineups here with the Yoshis and Baby Yoshis. I need to get my hands on the pink one and the other colours. I'm still missing classic green Yoshi. Don't know how that happened. I've got every colour of Toad apart from the blue pit stop code. Here's the Chain Chomp on the end as well. Missing a couple of Shy Guys, specifically the pink one. Missing Fire Bro. Ice Bro is in the back here, but missing Fire Bro and normal Red Shell Koopa. Perfect version of King Boo with the Luigi's Mansion one. The Growl, Thwomp, Moai. Only one of the Koopalings, excluding Bowser Jr. as well. And then Big Koopa up there as well. Actually, while we've got the characters out, now is a great time for me to show you my one custom Mario enemy, because I've taken my favourite, my Dry Bones, and done something with Large Koopa with them. So we might cut and show you that now, actually, I think. And then let's get messing with the sets, because this is cool. I like it. Those ghosts too. As some of you might know, Dry Bones is my favourite Mario character, so I couldn't help when I saw the Big Koopa from Big Bad Island give him a little bit of an upscale to match. So I'm introducing my Mega Mushroom Dry Bones, as we're calling him, who is basically a colour palette swap of Big Koopa from the official Big Bad Island set. One custom decal on the eye and some modifications to the nose as well as the shell, because it's really hard to get this part. However, I will eventually change it over. And we have a basically identical Dry Bones version of Big Koopa, which I absolutely love as a dry bones main in Mario Kart, and just general lover of this figure in particular, which comes from the 2020 Bowser's Castle, and then there's a variant with his eyes pointing sideways in the 2024 Boo's Haunted Mansion set. But I really want to show these off today because I finally got to compare the two side to side, and I'm now happy with how this one looks, even if the eyes aren't perfect. He's retained all the same articulations, such as being able to rotate his head, just like this one can, not very far, but far enough. Can alter the arms up and down, the same as this Koopa. And then the one big difference is on the feet, whereas this one had the shoes. Unfortunately, dry bones parts don't currently exist in Light Aqua, so I've basically done this assembly to make it look like one foot is stepped more forward than the other. We've got the tan and dark bluish grey for the rib cage, which is basically a scaled up version of this. And then the mouth is really the only difference and potentially the weakest part of the model. It keeps that same shape but goes for an open mouth design so that I can have some of those teeth and make him look his cute but menacing style that we know Dry Bones for. As far as pretty much the only custom Mario design I've ever really done fully, we've done clown cars and other stuff in the past, and I really love how he turned out. We've got a shell on the back done in dark bluish grey, and yeah, it's a really simple model, but I really like how it turned out, and it's a great addition to the Dry family, as you can see with these photos I took the other day. So I hope you enjoyed a quick look at this tiny mock. So everything's down now, 6 boxes, although admittedly that is decatory. We've got Bowser, the NES, Piranha Plant over here, and then all of the sets up along the top. You can see the 2 Bowser castles, Bowser train in the middle, lots of Bowser stuff, and then 2 boxes of play sets with a lot of the character pack bases in there. And just from where I had all those characters before, I've swept them up into this big sack here. You can just about see. And yeah, let's just get time lapse going and get this all set up and see where it goes.
So as you see, the brief time lapse me putting things together, I sort of started with the center and the core of the layout, which I knew I wanted to be sort of Bowser's Lava Kingdom and all of those sets. But very quickly I realized it was going to be very hard to sort of put things together until I got everything out, saw how they all connected. And there's a lot of big set pieces. I just kept turning around and finding that I was struggling to put stuff in. Like I forgot about Bowser Train, and I was like, oh no, this has to go in the lava area and work towards the green. So a lot of the biomes are separate, but I enjoyed putting this together. It took significantly longer than I had, so I didn't have much time to talk about it. But let's see the finished layout.
So it's both come out better and worse than I expected. It's taken up way more space than I expected. And you'll notice immediately that not everything is connected. Now that is largely the fact that I have every single character pack, which makes this basically impossible to all connect together without buying a load more green, red and blue plates, which I will do eventually when this has a final display home. But as you can see, it's going to take up a lot of space, and I'm happy with lots of elements of this. I'm going to show you a quick picture of a prototype I did with the Bowser castles, because I really do believe that the Dry Bowser and normal Bowser castles do connect quite well together. And if you could sort of elevate the back piece there, that feels much more like a castle keep, and this feels like the front gate, largely because of these drawbridges here. So I really look forward to doing an actual proper mock which combines those two in particular. Also love having a Bowser train coming off. So we've got one station there, and it's going to wheel its way over to the Mushroom Kingdom station where this whole area is attached. It's just a mess because I wasn't quite sure how to place everything, and as I said, there's lots of character packs around which make things very difficult. But here is our start pipe. Let's grab our brothers. We're going to put Mario in here and Luigi in here, and again, I'm not going to turn them on because I don't want to do all the sound effects, but effectively we're going to march through a pace. So we've got all of the grass terrain stuff here flowing into a lake, which also feeds into an island chain and the ocean, with Big Urchin Beach right over here, one of my favorites, this guy in particular. And we've got some bloopers around, some Eep Cheep, Spiny Cheep Cheep, Big Goomba over here from Big Bad Island. And then sort of that lake connects over to the eastern side of Guarded Fortress, which is sort of the unofficial entrance to Bowser Kingdom, unless you're, of course, taking the train. And yeah, so you could imagine that you knock that down and then shove him through. And then now he's come over here to fight Lemmy into Bowser's Kingdom, which is by far my favorite part of the model. It's not even that well thought through, but I love it. And then Bowser's got his car garage over to the side there. Over on this side, we've got a little Mario Kart race coming out here. I didn't integrate these guys brilliantly just because I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it. Then we've got a desert with one of my all-time favorite play features here with the Desert Pokey. Where you get to knock him sideways like that. I promised myself I wasn't going to make a mess. And the best named set ever, Conk Door Noggin Bopper, Oh, little ice section because I don't have any of the ice sets, so those three are just off to the side. Then we've got our Poison Swamp, which I'm actually really pleased with how this looks because originally I only had the Chain Chomp and then I picked this up years later for about half the price. So I love having all the brambles around and this Poison Wave has gone up in my opinion. Small airship section, but obviously that is where your airship would go. And in the back right corner, I've just got Bowser, the Piranha Plant, and the Blue Shell because those three are basically all in scale apart from Bowser. And then it loops back around to a little Sky Kingdom as well, into the Bowser's Fortress, which is by far the best part and definitely the centerpiece if I do that. And then over onto the other side, behind the beach island, you go into sort of wastelands. We've got the sort of Reznor set here. Oh dear, with Blue Toad on top. I'm gonna put him back up here. Oh dear, he doesn't want to go. But anyway, if I crank this around, you can sort of spin the Reznors around and then pull this back here to punch the Reznors and they're supposed to fall off. But there we go, and send him firing. He's activated one of the features from Luigi's Mansion section. But anyway, I thought it would make sense to have the Luigi stuff nearby in the Wasteland. So you've got the Wasteland Windmill, and you've got Egad's Lab here, and then the other Ghost, Bogmar. I don't have his set, but I do have Bogmar. And then NES over on this side at the moment, and then King Boo at the back there. But that is the overall layout. Yeah. So as far as my thoughts on the actual theme still go, I still really like the aesthetic. The sort of platey builds, I don't feel compromise things too much at all when I really think about it. Yeah, the actual play loop itself is fantabulous. Just everything's so kinetic, and some of these Mario characters just look about as perfect as you could want. Now I know some of you are going to say, but they're square up things, they don't match. But like, realistically, how else was Lego going to do a Pokey? Let's actually reset this guy as we go. How are they going to do this other than using square segments? We just don't have that many round pieces. And while I know you guys are good, well, they make custom molds. Not for everything. You're right that like Mario would get a custom mold. Wow, he's the main character, how shocking. I can't even find a Pokey set, right? But not everyone would. And stuff like the Pokey and the Bullet Bills are basically perfect. Freezy, Tuxie the Penguin, I mean, yes, you could use the Penguin mold and so on. The Wiggler's about as good as they can get. I actually really like the Goomba design. As you saw, I have so many of those. Dry Bowser in there. The Bowsers are great. Yeah, I really can't see it working any other way when I think about it. Like on paper, I agree with you. Oh wow, we should use the Lego minifigures. But I think when you really dive into it and start that design challenge, it just becomes impossible, if not improbable. And you see, I'm just fiddling with things as well. I love this one in particular. And I think that's why we got what we wanted as well. Yeah. Sorry, we got what we didn't want, was because we don't understand how this is supposed to all work. And yeah, it feels cohesive. I'm really liking it. It feels like a hybrid between Lego and Nintendo. I think what they did was incredible. I mean, it was a lot of work, that's for sure. 5 years of development for them, and then we've been going for 5-6 years strong. And I really hope they don't change it at this point, because I'm actually really happy with the collection that's growing in front of me. This part's incredibly displayable. The Bowser Train as a standalone model is also incredible. I even love stuff like this. The Guarded Fortress remains an all-time playset, I think. And the Mario Kart stuff's fabulous. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy this more.
And honestly, I sat there for quite a while, but it did have to come down, and I could ramble on about this theme and form a more structured argument, and maybe that is something I'll do in the future. But for now, I've got one more little mock I want to show you guys.
I totally bought the Goomba tree for the Goombas. 50% off on Amazon on separate occasions, and I've ended up with 2 copies and a whole load of tree parts that I don't really have a use for. Could I have sold the tree? Yes, probably for nothing. Should I really just part out the tree, considering how blocky and square it is? Also probably true. However, I thought I'd give it a go just on a whimsical 30-minute kind of afternoon to see if I could combine the trees together to make anything that looked somewhat decent. And yeah, didn't try very hard, did I? But like, yeah, that is a tree that is twice as tall. Still got the seesaw, used some of the extra log prints, the mushrooms, and then of course added the Goombas all around. 6 Goombas actually makes this feel a lot better. Would I pay 20 for this? I mean, I'd probably complain about it, but yeah, I'd pay 18. On sale, obviously I'd go down even lower. The tree is not quite double height, meaning it cannot store all 6 Goombas and launch all of them. It can launch about 5, although it is basically a machine gun launching setup. So while I'm talking, I suppose I can stack all of these and actually show you. But yeah, I changed out the tree colors so that the bigger, darker green ones are on the top. But effectively, I did stick this segment on here a second time. probably should have rotated it so that that was hidden, and then had to just use some of the square bricks from lower down so that there wasn't a sort of second archway halfway up the tree. Probably if I started from scratch, I could actually make this tree even taller, maybe by a couple of bricks, using some of these lower curves, as there are quite a few parts left over. But this was supposed to just be a quick sort of idea and see if I could use the parts. Most likely I will part out this set, although no promises on that, because this is quite fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they came out together, and 6. Casual 6 Goomba launching out of the tree. Yeah, considering I paid half price for both of them, meaning that I got 2 for the price of 1 on 2 separate occasions, and we're talking like £6 twice. And I now have 6 Goombas, which I'm always looking for because they kind of are ridiculous on Bricklink because they go for like £2.50 or more. I consider this a great deal to rebuild and give me some useful parts. Who knows? Who knows? But I like it. It's cool. What an interesting remock to do in my summer. And that is all I have to share, really. Have a wonderful rest of your day.